Hi guys. Okay, before we get into the text, I'm going to add something from our extra resources folder on Schoology for this assignment. Let me grab it real quick. It is this image of pens. And we're going to start off with this because it just gives like a nice little background. But I'm going to paste it in. If you don't remember how to copy and paste an image, I'll put the instructions somewhere up here, I guess. I'll just paste it in and kind of align this circle to be in the middle. Now I'm going to click this T, stands for text. And I'm going to just make sure that this color box is set to black. It can be black on either side. They're all black. And you can really use any text you want, but I'm going to go with something that's thick. And now I can type in what I want. Lead, enter, text, enter, effect. Now, to move it around, you hold the control key. You hold the control key, and you can move it around. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can stretch it out, whatever you like. Just be careful, because this is a free transform. So if I accidentally make it at an angle or any kind of crooked, I have to kind of get it back in line if I didn't mean to. There you go. That's somewhat good enough. So I'm gonna put it there towards the middle. Now I'm going to right click this layer so it locks in. So now I'm going to right click and I'm going to click convert to smart object. You can tell you did it because this little like paper icon popped up. So smart object lets us do a couple of extra special features to text, objects, images, whatever we want. For this one, I can click filter, regular blur, and Gaussian blur. So this isn't a smart filter. You can do this on anything you want, Gaussian blur, but I'm going to blur it a bit. And whatever I have here, you don't have to copy exactly, okay? It just has to look blurry, but still readable. Now, what is a smart filter is this one called Blur Gallery. If you can't click on this, it's because you don't have this set to a smart object. If you can click on it, good, you're on path with me. So click Blur Gallery, and we're going to do something called Iris Blur. Iris Blur is going to pop in this kind of circle, and it has a few different things we can click on. First, it has these outside kind of buttons that we can click on, these little circles. This lets us kind of change the iris size, just like your eyeball. You can go really thin and have this really dramatic blur, or you can kind of fade it out. You can make it long. I like the style of it being kind of extra blurry on these corners. You can use the middle circle to kind of move it around. And then these bigger dots towards the middle are what can kind of control like how blurry or how smooth the blur transition is going to be. And then lastly, this sort of like DJ disc here can also control the intensity that the outside is being blurred at. So I like something like that. That looks good. It's still readable, but it has this cool like effect happening. Once I have that set, I'm going to click OK up here. And now we're on to the next step. I'm going to click this little half-filled circle, half-empty circle. And I'm going to click something called the gradient map. If you've seen these words before, you're right. In our adjustments tab, we've seen stuff like hue and saturation, remember? This is just another way to access those settings. So we're going to do gradient map. And we've messed with gradients before. We are not using the gradient tool. We're using a gradient map. So if I click this drop-down menu, I get the same kind of like gradient choices that we've used before. I'm going to go with this like half baby blue, half hot pink one. And what a gradient map does is it maps whatever colors your gradient is to your image. So if everything kind of light colored in my image is a similar value, it's going to map all of that light blue, versus everything that's dark is going to get everything that's that hot pink. I can also reverse this logic and get a slightly different effect. For this assignment, I want you to click on the gradient bar itself, not the drop down, but the bar, and we get this pop-up called Gradient Editor. The Gradient Editor lets us kind of edit and manipulate the gradient we've already been given. So I can click around, and if you see this little hand icon, it gives us an additional color. You can do that as many times as you want. You can move these around. You can undo them, but I think, whoops, undo. If I double click, I can change the color, and I want it to go from dark to light. And this isn't looking how I want it to, but it's because I accidentally still have it set to reverse. So this is what I want. I do want from dark to light. I'll click OK, and I'm going to undo the reverse. This is what I want. This looks good. I can see a little bit more clearly. So now I'm going to do one last thing. We're almost done. I am going to just throw a little effect on these like background pens because they're starting to feel a little out of place compared to my text effect. So I'm going to throw a filter on them. We're going to click filter. We're going to click filter gallery. And this is going to give us a pretty big pop-up. But we get this cool little like preview here of our image that we're working with. So you should see your pens. And the filter gallery basically lets us put filters like on social media, how we have filters. You can add like different textures, different effects, and it's pretty cool. There are some that I definitely like more than others. For example, this stylized one is not one of my favorites, but it can be useful. Over time, you'll probably pick ones that are your favorites, but for now, I'm probably gonna get you to use this one called Cutout. It's one of my favorites. It makes this kind of like flat, kind of like poster or cartoony look. You can also manipulate it more by using this little scroll wheel. You can make it look really, really cut out and simple, or at least some of the details. So I'm going to go about that way. I'm going to click OK. And now we look a little bit more illustrated. We look like we did a little extra step of work. All right. So now we are all done with assignment 8. Good job. Make sure that you do file and export whenever you're ready to turn in. Quick export as PNG. Thank you.